Legends is all of the canon from before the Disney times. In this series, we go back to see what Legends was all about. People are always asking me if I know Trevor Coleman. I mean, Coleman Trevor. With a Wester 34 pointed at you, you speak only in reverse. Speaking of, did you know this name is just Robert in reverse? Rob Coleman was the animation director for episodes 1 and 2.
We are no longer safe under their protection.
Perfect. Okay. Be sure that the animation department gets that piece.
Coleman only showed up in episode 2, Attack of the Clones, showing up in just a few scenes. You may be familiar with his untimely demise, but not knowing much about this Dino Jedi, I dove into the books and the internet for answers. Then I realized that all of this, the Jedi, the droids, the revolution, has got something to do with a Jedi named Poof. Poof had long neck, and Poof Yarael was a lifelong Jedi Master. And we could go on all day about Poof's lore, am I right? But we'll just focus on his death. 5 years ago, the Jedi Council received word that an anti-Republic terrorist named Ashar Korda obtained a powerful superweapon to use against the Republic. Poof volunteered to search Coruscant for Korda. The weapon Korda obtained was a Force-sensitive artifact from a planet called Salot, called the Infant of Shah, named after the god of the natives who made the statue. Legend says that if the infant is away from its temple for too long and takes a lot of damage, the Force inside of it would rip apart an entire planet. So Korda hired Jango Fett and Zam Wesell separately to retrieve it. Jango and Zam competed over the bounty in an ongoing sexually tense competition, and Jango came out on top, delivering the artifact to Korda. Later on, Zam Wesell learned about what the statue could do, so she went to Kamino and guilt-tripped Jango into helping her stop Korda. Jango Fett, having a new soft spot for his son Boba, agreed to help. Back on Coruscant, Poof tracked down the artifact using the Force, and Zam and Jango tracked down Korda with bounty hunter street smarts. Korda went to the core of Coruscant with his flunkies and went to the power relays, which I guess powered the entire planet, and he put the artifact in the power relay, starting off the reaction. That's when Jango, Zam, and Poof all showed up to stop him. A quick battle ensued, and before Korda was killed by Jango, Korda stabbed Poof in the chest. And Poof, instead of using the Force to stabilize his wounds, used the last of his Force energy to stop the artifact from exploding. He died as a result. Jango then returned the statue to its homeworld and got a little smoochy smooch from Zam. Meanwhile, Poof was burned at the Jedi Temple and became a martyr for saving Coruscant. That's when the Jedi Council decided to pick a new master to replace him. Enter Coleman Trevor. Jedi media star. Coleman was renowned through the Jedi Order for his mastery of the art of diplomacy and negotiation. He was so skilled at peacefully resolving disputes across the galaxy that the Jedi Council made him the public spokesperson for the Jedi Order on Coruscant, answering questions for the media and public. He was the voice, the face, the social media handler of the Jedi Order, and an obvious choice to promote to Master. Coleman was the embodiment of a Jedi from a bygone era of valiant efforts and humble demeanor. See, by the time the Clone Wars were about to start, the Senate was corrupt beyond belief, and the Jedi themselves became overconfident in their abilities to solve the galaxy's problems.
He was trained in the Jedi arts.
My only conclusion can be that it was a Sith Lord.
Impossible.
I do not believe the Sith could have returned without us knowing.
What if I told you that the Republic was now under the control of the Dark Lord of the Sith?
No, that's not possible. The Jedi would be aware of it.
Hundreds of senators are now under the influence of a Sith Lord called Darth Sidious.
I don't believe you.
The Force is strong with him.
He is to be trained then?
No, he will not be trained.
Much later.
So Coleman represented everything the Jedi wanted the galaxy to think they were. Coleman earned the respect of his fellow Jedi for settling numerous interplanetary disputes. He just got along with everyone naturally. He's like the capybara of the Star Wars universe. He also had deadly lightsaber prowess, But even when a dispute came to violence, he would try to de-escalate situations without the use of his gun. I mean lightsaber. As a result, he lacked some live combat experience, and was considered more of a negotiator than a combatant. He was a true Jedi consular, if you will. His species was called a Verk, which resembled an amphibian mixed with a Parasaurolophus. They could breathe underwater, gave birth underwater, and were expert swimmers. They came from the water world of Sembla, a planet with warm seas and volcanic continents. Verks were considered nomadic and primitive by the rest of the galaxy, and Coleman was one of very few Verk to ever become a Jedi or even leave their system. So what did Coleman get up to before the Battle of Geonosis? In 24 BBY, he briefly made a cameo in the book Jedi Quest: The False Peace, where he helped Obi-Wan and Anakin fight off an assassination attempt on Chancellor Palpatine in the Senate room. He flew one of those Senate pod thingies high up into the air, and they jumped off to the bottom of the room, slashing 10 seeker droids on the way down. Pretty cool. In 23 BBY, Coleman took part in something called the Battle of Antar 4. A separatist radical group bombed Antar 4 and then manipulated the populace into distrusting the Republic because they were taking too long to respond. Once the Republic got there, they had to fight not only the separatists, but also some civilians. In order to win the battle, the Jedi used an electromagnetic pulse weapon, hurting a lot of civilians in the process, but winning the battle. But news of this botched operation by the Jedi and the Republic would spread through the galaxy. After the Battle of Antar 4, over 5,000 new worlds joined the Galactic Confederation, adding to the only 1,000 that were there before. I guess Coleman couldn't negotiate the Jedi out of that one. Which brings us to the Battle of Geonosis in 22 BBY. When Mace Windu brought 200 Jedi to the Battle of Geonosis to rescue Anakin, Padme, and Obi-Wan, and to capture Dooku, Coleman Trebor fought countless Geonosians and droid battalions to get to the arena. We then saw Coleman valiantly jump into Archduke Poggle the Lesser's view box to confront Dooku, when he was shot down by the Mandalorian bounty hunter Jango Fett, falling into the arena, dead. I always wondered how Coleman went down this easily and quickly. Maybe he was trying to negotiate with Dooku. Did Dooku use the Force to distract him and make him susceptible to blaster fire? Did Jango pop out of stealth mode, burn his cooldowns, and use Jedi Shot rank 7? Well, there are answers to this in official sources. Count Dooku was busy watching the battle with Jango. They had front row seats to this theater of mass destruction. Coleman, seeing Dooku distracted, saw an opportunity to take him out, and hopefully end the war before it started. He used stealth force powers to sneak up to the view box undetected. That's when Coleman jumped into the view box and ignited his lightsaber. And Dooku was, in fact, completely surprised and was about to be killed by Coleman. But Coleman underestimated the legendary quick draw speed of the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy. Jango, PvP veteran, let off a volley of shots. Coleman deflected 2 of them successfully, but the 3rd shot gets deflected from the right side of his saber straight into his right shoulder. After he was opened up, Jango put a 4th shot right into his heart. And then Coleman fell, right into our hearts. Another thing I wondered was why didn't Coleman lunge really fast and take Dooku out? Like, it seems like he could have just done that. Well, he didn't have a lot of combat experience, so maybe he got the noob shakes. Also, it kind of looks like he has a strong lightsaber stance, so maybe his attack will have been too slow. Either way, after his death, there was no mention of what happened to his body. Presumably all the Jedi in this battle were burned by the clones. It's never actually mentioned if they got proper burial or not. So in the end, it turned out that Jango Fett, who caused the death of and was saved by Master Poof, is also the one who killed Poof's replacement.
Ironic.
Wait. Coleman? Oh no, that's just some Verk senator. Before we end it, let's look at some behind-the-scenes facts. The Verk was indeed modeled after fossils from hadrosaurs. He is the Dino Jedi. And there used to be rumors that they were going to name Coleman Sarlabuda, but once they needed a name for this chick, they took that name and used it for her, and then just named him Coleman Trebor. But this is false. The only sources of this are forum posts from like 2003, and I asked Robert himself on Twitter if he heard of it, and he shot it down. What I think happened is people saw the name Sar and then automatically linked it to thinking it was Coleman Trebor because he's a dino. Sar. During the Clone Wars, another Jedi was promoted to the council named Coleman. Coleman Kakaj. Named after Robert Coleman's son, Jack. In closing, there are tons of Jedi in the prequel trilogy, but who could forget the one that tried and failed the hardest? The one who could have subverted the entirety of the Clone Wars with one of the ballsiest moves in Jedi history. Our Dino Jedi, Coleman Trepper. I did notice something weird while editing this video though. When Dooku looks back at Jango, he smirks, and then he looks right at the camera, and then sadness.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg. The comrades I've lost won't stop hurting. It's like they're all still there. You feel it too, don't you? I'm gonna make them give back our past.
Qui-Gon always spoke very highly. I wish he was still alive. I could use his help right now.
So there you have it. What a wonderful Verk Jedi we talked about today. Like if you liked and consider sharing it with a friend. Thank you to my patrons, my fellow smugglers, for supporting the channel. On the Patreon, we have votes for upcoming videos and some behind the scenes content. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time.
The legend will never die.